Bombshell is about to drop in Washington. What would you do if I told you the Commanders might be on the verge of replacing a living football legend? A decision that could change the franchise's course is on the horizon. And that's not all. The draft is approaching, and an analyst just raised a huge red flag about the prospect everyone assumes will don the burgundy and gold. Meanwhile, a new mock draft has just revealed what could be the perfect plan for Dan Quinn and his defense. Want to know what's really happening with your favorite team? Stick around until the end because you won't find this information anywhere else. If you're a true Commanders fan, you can't miss what's coming. How do you replace a legend? I'll tell you this, it's no easy task, but the Commanders might be laying the groundwork for when Bobby Wagner says goodbye. UCLA linebacker Carson Schlesinger could be the answer according to the latest mock draft by Chad Reuter from NFL.com.now. I ask you, are you ready to see a new leader form under the wing of one of the brightest defensive minds to ever step on an NFL field? Because I believe this could be a masterstroke by Adam Peters. Schlesinger would arrive as the 61st pick in the second round, the only pick for the Commanders on day 2 of the draft. Is it enough? I think so, especially considering he would have at least a full season to learn directly from Wagner. Lance Zierlein from NFL.com describes, this linebacker is someone with elite instincts that compensate for his somewhat reduced size and not exceptional speed. Does that sound familiar? Exactly the same labels Wagner had when he came out of Utah State. And we all know how that story turned out in 3 years with the Bruins. This kid racked up 163 tackles, 5 sacks, and 2 interceptions, both in 2024. What started as a walk-on ended up becoming a defensive machine. And now I ask you, isn't he exactly the type of player Quinn seeks for his system? Hungry, with something to prove, and willing to work. If Peters managed to find the heir to Wagner's Hall of Fame throne with his only day 2 pick, I assure you we would have to consider it a resounding success. The question now is, will he be available when the Commanders are on the clock? The draft is right around the corner. And I'll tell you this, Chad Reuter from NFL.com just released a 7-round mock draft that could be a dream come true for Dan Quinn and the Commanders. With only 5 picks in their possession. 29, 61, 128, 205, and 245. Peters has little room for error. But according to this mock draft, Washington could load up on defense with their first 3 picks. Now, I ask you, isn't that exactly what this team needs after losing Dante Fowler Jr. and Jonathan Allen on the defensive line? In the first round, Reuter projects the Commanders will select Boston College edge rusher Donovan Azurewaku, a prospect who has been rising rapidly in recent months and who, according to Reuter, brings speed from the edge along with a very effective spin move. Characteristics that are currently scarce in Washington. In the second round, as we mentioned before, Schlesinger will be the chosen one to eventually fill Wagner's spot. And in the fourth round, Florida cornerback Jason Marshall Jr. would join the defense to add depth to a secondary that might need reinforcements, especially considering Marshon Lattimore's age and injury concerns. The last 2 picks would finally address the offensive side. Arkansas wide receiver Isaac Tesla in the 6th round and Syracuse running back LaQuint Allen in the 7th. Is it enough for the attack? I think so, especially after the acquisitions of Deebo Samuel Sr. and Michael Gallup this offseason. The big question I ask you is, how many of these prospects will actually end up in Washington? Because this draft seems specifically designed for Quinn's needs and his defensive philosophy. Get ready for a dose of reality because an NFL analyst just raised serious concerns about one of the prospects most linked with the Commanders. And I'll tell you this, when there's smoke, there's usually fire. With only 5 picks available for the 2025 draft, Adam Peters' margin for error is virtually non-existent. That was the price to pay for acquiring Deebo Samuel Sr. and Laramie Tunsil through trades this offseason. Was it worth it? I think so. But now the pressure is at its peak. The Commanders are in a strange position with the 29th pick. Peters hasn't ruled out any possibilities, and there are no leaks from the team giving us clear clues. But now I ask you, what if the prospect everyone links with Washington isn't the right choice? Brent Sobleski from Bleacher Report went against the grain by declaring that Donovan Eziraku shouldn't be considered by the Commanders. According to him, the lack of legitimate height and wingspan of the Boston College prospect could limit his influence, suggesting that JT Tumalo represents a better option. Sobleski argues Eziraku definitely knows how to harass opposing quarterbacks after finishing second in the FBS last season with 16.5 sacks, while averaging 5 pressures per game. At the same time, the Ted Hendricks Award winner shouldn't be seen as an every-down defender. He'll likely struggle at the point of attack, and offenses will look to exploit that deficiency. And he continues, basically, the Commanders could be investing in a part-time rotational defender with this year's first-round pick or looking for another option. Someone like JT Tumalo from Ohio State might be a better alternative later in the first round. Is this a legitimate concern, or just pre-draft noise? I believe Quinn has extensive experience maximizing the potential of undersized pass rushers. The coach might have a specific plan for Eziraku if he decides to go this route, moving him around the line of scrimmage to exploit mismatches. The real question I ask you is, do you trust Peters and Quinn to make the right decision with this crucial pick? Because Washington desperately needs an explosive threat from the edge capable of sparking this weakened unit. Greetings, Commanders family! Our team's defensive outlook could radically transform in the coming days, and the options on the table are fascinating. The question that keeps us up at night, could Schlesinger really be the ideal heir to Bobby Wagner? His instinct for finding the ball and his athletic ability are undeniable, but does he have the mindset to lead our defense in critical moments? The numbers don't lie. 93 tackles, 4 sacks, and 2 interceptions last season speak for themselves. Ritter's mock draft has sparked controversy among our fan base. Some see it as an accurate prediction, others as pure speculation. But his track record in past drafts deserves our attention, especially considering he correctly predicted 7 of our last 10 first-round picks. Regarding Eziraku, concerns about his technique against the run game are valid, but are they enough to rule him out? His explosiveness in pass rushing situations might be exactly what we need to complement our defensive front. This community is a true family. We're the ones who suffer every loss and celebrate every victory together, from the glorious days of Riggins to the recent frustrations. If you're not yet part of this burgundy and gold brotherhood, now is the perfect time to join. Hit the subscribe button right now, turn on notifications, and don't miss any updates on the Commanders. Share this video with another fan who needs to stay informed about what's really happening with our team. Your support is what keeps this channel growing, bringing you the most comprehensive and up-to-date information about the Commanders. And always remember, hail to the Redskins!